Welcome to Suzanne's Real Life Real Estate. I'm Suzanne Prezio. And as you know, this is a show about people in our community. It's highlighting businesses and people and the services that they offer, because one thing we all have in common is we live somewhere. So you don't necessarily have to be looking to buy or sell a home to be interested in what's being talked about here. Although if you are interested in buying or selling a home, you can certainly call me at 518-577-6571. And if you'd like to know more about the businesses in the community, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. So each week on Monday at 7:30, you can be notified that there is a new Suzanne's Real Life Real Estate out there for you to listen to and enjoy. Today I have with me someone who was on my radio program, and we had an effortless conversation. Brian Phillips, the lawn guy. Hi, Brian.
How you doing? No, that was definitely an effortless conversation. We could have went for hours, to be honest with you. It was great.
I learned a lot, and thank you so much for being with me again. And I know you're a busy guy. This is your busy time of year. We have so much to cover in the next half hour. I will just say briefly, and I know you're going to blush a little bit. You've been doing this, what, 24 years? Started out as the
24 years.
Started out as the lawn boy, and still have your first customer.
I do. She's been with me since the beginning, and there's a pride thing with that. I kind of, can't let it go. And it's great. She's been with me forever. I've kind of watched her kids grow up. They weren't even, but two foot tall when we started, and now they're off in college. So yeah, it's pretty cool to kind of see that you become kind of one with the family when you start watching all that and you look back on it. It makes me feel old.
Or that you have a history and a reputation of doing really good work, because to be around for 24 years, that says something. And to still have your first client, I mean, that's good for you.
Yeah. And it's good, and we grow, and we've gone bigger with bigger things, smaller with some other things, but all in all, it's a good thing. We're not a huge company at all, but we like what we do, and when it's time to hit the ground running, like now, it's time to go. So that's where we're at.
And we're going to try and cover a lot of the things that you do, because there's quite a list here. I mean, I have 4 columns of things that you do, but in talking about homeowners, is there such a thing as starting out too early? Like, I'll see, as soon as we get a really, like, we just had a couple of nice days, people are already out there and they're working in the yards, and I see people breaking out chemicals. Is there such a thing as jumping the gun?
Well, I guess that's kind of a loaded question, because coming off the pandemic that we're coming off of, I think getting outside is just nice to be outside and to be, not cooped up. So in that regard, get out and do what you want to do. As far as putting chemicals and stuff down, it's a little bit early. Pretty much after April 1st is kind of the rule of thumb. But no. I mean, you just got to watch. There's some wet spot on the lawns. This nice weather is definitely getting people out and about, and it's a good thing. I always say it's kind of a joking thing, because we're coming off of a winter that was, it was a long winter, and it's nice to get people out, but it's not a sense of urgency, because we had one 60-degree day. I mean, yes, it's nice to be out, but time. Unfortunately, we can still get a little bit of snow and a little bit of bad weather. So, but no, it's not too early. Just I forewarn people, just be careful putting equipment and stuff on lawns, because it is still a little bit wet for sure.
So, what steps should people take to wake up their lawn?
So at this point in the year, we basically get it to where we dethatch the yards, get the dead grass and stuff up, picking up the miscellaneous, yard debris, pine cones and sticks and whatnot, and everything else that kind of goes along with it. And that's, pretty much the first step before fertilizer and stuff should get down. Basically, just get a good hard raking and thatching on your lawns, and get all the, the debris and everything, and the plow damage fixed before, any of them chemicals get put in.
And I know all about plow damage. Oh my goodness. Uh, um, so, so you're saying April 1st. I mean, my mother was always, you don't do anything before Memorial Day. So April 1st, does that seem when it's safe to start planning? Or, I mean, temperatures should be around where before people are doing that kind of stuff?
So the April 1st is pretty much for your chemicals on the lawn. That's pretty much a state regulation. A lot of people don't know about it, but April 1st is pretty much the first time that legally you can put chemicals on, and that's just sheer because of erosion. They don't want the chemicals kind of going in the cricks and everything else. As far as planting annuals and that sort of thing, your mother's spot on. You definitely don't want to be doing that in that April timeframe. There is always apt for a frost up till that early May. Bigger shrubs and whatnot can absolutely get planted. But a lot of it is availability. These nurseries are just getting geared up. So at this point, you're kind of you're limited to exactly what you can get until about the end of April. Generally, they start really having everything fully stocked, depending on suppliers.
Well, getting with that now with the pandemic, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but are you already seeing it? Are you already seeing shortages in, I mean, I read there's going to be a seed shortage. I know last year trying to buy plants,
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Uh,
yeah.
are you,
So it's tough. It's tough because different things are different. I mean, I haven't seen a major issue yet or warning about plantings. More so supplies, hard, raw material supplies from the block to wood. Now steel they're talking about, and all those things ultimately on the hardscaping end affect what we do. Some of these manufacturers are geared up and have a full yard of hardscaping materials, but when they're producing and have X amount and they're selling double, and when forewarned by every manufacturer across the board, be prepared for that. And we ran into that about halfway through last year. What we thought was a lead time of 2 weeks should have been fine in a normal situation. 2 weeks turned into 2-3 months, even if that was available. So we're seeing that already, hoping for the best and preparing for the worst, I guess, is the answer.
and I'm assuming that you've kind of had to adjust your prices because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a supply and demand thing. So as their prices go up, our prices have to go up, and then we're dealing with the unforeseen. Gas prices have gone up almost $1 in 2-3 months. So with that said, where is that dollar going to be in 3-4 months? We don't know, but we're hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. Again, we just don't know. But with that said, I mean, there's only so many contractors out there doing what we do with a labor force that is struggling. We're struggling to get people to work, and with that said, you can only be so many places. So yeah, it's difficult.
Well, the whole dynamic has changed now because, with travel being canceled, the backyard is the new utopia.
You're 100% right. And the one thing I will say is the word that everybody calls me on a daily basis of this, that, the other thing, but pools and patios. That's the theme: pools and patios. Everybody wants a pool and everybody wants a patio. That's what's going on, and we're seeing it. I mean, these pool companies are locked up basically for the season into 2022. There's several companies taking multiple deposits for spring of 22. They are booked for the year, and then if they're booked for the year, we typically follow them, so it follows suit, and it's a trickle down effect.
You're not kidding, because I knew I needed a new pool liner. So just a couple of days ago, March, I called my pool guy thinking he was going to say, Susie, will you calm down? And I said, should we order the liner? And he said to me, I don't know if we're going to be able to get you a liner because there's a
Yeah,
vinyl shortage. And I was like, what? Because my pool is, I mean, that's what I do. Working on my tan is my full-time job in the summer. So
sure.
I called the pool store. Thank goodness they had the liner in, and I ran over and got it. the place was mobbed. This
Yeah.
is in March. It
Yeah.
was mobbed. There were so many people there. So you are correct with it, the backyard is the new resort.
Yeah. Yeah. Outdoor living is what kitchens and bathrooms were 10 years ago. Everybody wanted, remodel the house, remodel, be inside. And with this pandemic, it's everything but that. I mean, the pandemic for us has been, thank God, has been just, something that has boosted us 2, 3, 400%. I mean, it's crazy from the amount of calls that we get. Like you mentioned earlier, the sun shining, people are getting antsy and being out there. I had in 2 days, well, probably a day and a half, over 15 phone calls, all for exactly what we're talking about, outdoor living.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Are you now the outdoor kitchen, is that still popular?
very popular, very popular. People like to basically, they're cooped up all winter. So, and or pandemic, I keep going back to that, but it's what we're dealing with right now.
Sure, yeah.
And it's where we're at. Instead of being inside, they want to be outside. So, they take that outdoor grill that they might just had a little Weber grill before, and now they want that full outdoor kitchen with it, sometimes a TV, a refrigerator, outdoor bar, and that's what we provide. And it's these are not things that get done in a day. There's a lot of planning, a lot of effort on a design standpoint that gets involved with it, and we'll ultimately take that full circle. But the early planning is the key, and it just getting on somebody's schedule, and that's the hard part right now.
Brian, how does that, because the outdoor kitchen, I mean, that's my dream. How does that hold up in the Northeast?
So it's all about, again, starting from the ground up and planning that out. We have no problems. There's a lot of people out there that will not do it the right way, and it gives us a bad name. But at the end of the day, if it's constructed and designed the way that it should be, there's no issues. There's certain things we do for frost protection, certain materials we'll use, certain ones we don't. But if you're thinking of an outdoor kitchen, don't be scared of the winners that we have. These are all designed. We take a lot of classes, go through a lot of seminar stuff, talk with a lot of different contractors. They're all designed and manufactured the way they should be, so that in the spring, your $10,000 kitchen is not crumbling and falling over.
You still with me? Okay, you got jumped.
Yep.
So it's designed so in the spring it's not crumbling and falling over. Okay.
Correct.
Maybe
Yep.
I'll have to get on your list for 2023 then. So
Start planning now.
yeah, it'll take me that long to save that money. Now, watering the lawn. I have always heard you don't water at night because you'll end up getting moss and mold. Is that true? I mean, should you only water it in the early morning?
So watering in the morning, thorough watering in the morning. A lot of our customers set them systems at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning before it gets really hot. That's a great idea for lawns that are fully established. And if you can stick to that, that's great. When you put new lawns in, they need more than just that initial watering in the morning. They need a lot of watering for them first 3 or 4 weeks. So, we set them systems that, to come on 2, 3 times a day, in early evening at the, to keep that moisture on the lawn with the hydro seeding. But as far as a general lawn that is established, yes, early morning, 15, 20 minutes a zone is exactly what you want to do.
Okay. All right. What's the biggest source of damage to yards?
In this area,
Black,
in this, a lot of grubs, a lot of pests, falls back on home, basically not take steps that they need initially to prevent that and or kill them. So, it's grubs and those sort of things can take a lawn in one season, and then it's done. You start over.
Oh, okay. Mowing. The first cut of the season, should that be at a different blade height? Like I never adjust my blade. And are you supposed to?
Well, I mean, yes and no. So early on in the season, we take the blades down a little bit, and that's just to suck up all the debris and everything as much as we can to help with the vacuum of that with a bagger system. And then after that, 3.5, the longer the better that you can cut that. It just creates a healthier lawn and a thicker root system.
Oh, okay. All right. Um, so now, how do most people pay for this stuff? Do they do home equity loans, or are there programs that, like, say somebody who does want to put in a home or an outdoor kitchen? Is that is that a second mortgage, or are there actually programs for things like that?
So it depends. I mean, some customers have that equity line. That's a big part of it. What's happening, and again, I go back to the pandemic. What's happening a lot of times right now, we're seeing is that people in the last year have not taken that $10,000, $15,000 vacation that they would to Disney World. So their Disney World is becoming their yard. And that's what's happening is, it's not money that they didn't have, it's just they're spending it elsewhere. So this year, that's what we're seeing a lot of. There are a lot of different programs that, we can kind of guide people to as far as financing. But this year, the norm has been, basically shifting gears of money that people had for vacations that they're not using. And that's why things are busy, because people are doing something, and that something is staying home and wanting to be comfortable.
And you've got how many work people on your staff?
So we keep right now I have 4 full-time people. We bring on a couple more throughout the season, which is getting geared up here in the next few weeks. But I got a regular group of guys that have been with me 5, 6 years, the ones that we have now. And we always take on, and the college kid or something like that, as things get crazy. But a constant group of 3 to 4 people have been with us.
So, if a homeowner had that, that extra 10,000, we'll say, or even just 5,000, what would you recommend if they wanted to do, if they were going to do one thing that was really going to, like, create like a pop to the house?
Yep.
Where should they invest that? What's the thing that you think gives a house a facelift?
So, I mean, it depends on the property, but initially, if somebody's driving up to your home, the first thing they see is that front entrance in the front yard. So, with that, just don't have the old bushes that have been there since for 25 years that serve their purpose. Don't have that walkway that's crumbling and whatnot. But I mean, just from a general standpoint, I mean, just bushes and some mulching goes a long way. In that lower end budget, as far as, let's just say, $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, if you had that 5 to 10,000, put a little facelift on the front, maybe a nice stoop of some sort with a transition versus an old fallen down step. But again, mulching some things and the lawn looking nice and green is the first thing people see driving up to the home.
That's true. Well, I mean, it takes 8 seconds for somebody to decide whether or not they want to go inside.
Yeah,
So, and it's all about the curb appeal, right?
sure.
So what you're seeing trending right now, the pools, the patios, stamped concrete. What's the patios? What's the demand?
So, yeah, so the demand on the patios is crazy. We if somebody wants stamped concrete, we have people that we refer that to. Most of the people that we work with are coming to us for pavers. In house, we don't provide stamped; we do pavers. And the pavers give you a little bit more of a design. You can change things around or wide. But again, the patios, a lot of people are taking down the old, especially with the price of lumber, taking down old decks and putting in patios. And we see that quite a bit. Where somebody has that deck, they're sick of painting it, and it comes out, and they put in that patio with a fire feature in a sitting wall. That's a lot of the calls that we get, and along with the pools.
So you've seen a lot of fire pits?
People love them. especially the gas. Upfront more expensive on the gas end of it, but longevity on the simplicity and or code for smoke and stuff. If people don't want to deal with that, sometimes there's a city code on that. Hook up the gas, and what you'll find is you'll end up using it more because of the simplicity. Turn the thing, light the igniter, and you're done. And you can use it for a half an hour without having to worry about dry wood, smoke, and everything else. Come home from work, pop it on, turn it off, go in the house. You're done.
Yeah, that is nice. That is uh more call for different colors, or people kind of sticking with the gray. What are you seeing?
Color trends are funny. People. Last year it seemed like every other job we did was a gray with a black border. And that was the pop. People loved it, and the ones that didn't do it did something very, very similar. So a lot of our jobs, I mean, if you go on our Facebook and or still, it's been like 2-3 years in a row running with that lighter color with a bold border. It's trending, and it's still continuing to trend. People see it and they love it. So that's kind of the hot item right now.
Okay, I'm gonna give your it's Brian Phillips, the lawn guy, 518-581-2655. And Brian is in Saratoga Springs. So so your radius, um, you're pretty much from where to where that because you're doing like 80 lawns, aren't you?
Yeah, so we this year, just with staffing and just the way things have been, it's gotten a little bit difficult. So we actually cut our lawns down quite a bit, to where we're a 2 or 3 day schedule. So we can take some. We're pretty selective on what we can take, just because we don't want to spread ourselves thin. But the mowing end of things is like exit 12 up to exit 16 area. Hardscaping, we got jobs from Mechanicville, Clifton Park up to Diamond Point, because they're, jobs that we're on all day. So in that regard, we'll travel. I can't go to Lake George to do a yard. We're just not set up that way.
Okay, so I see you do landscaping design. You do obviously the outdoor kitchens, retaining walls, hardscape patios, driveways, hedge trimming, hydro seeding, fire pits, mulching, paver walkways, pool sides, steps and walkways, tree trimming, shrub installation. So everything.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much everything. If somebody's coming to us with a new construction, we can take that from design phase. Even if there's not a house on the lot, we take your plans, put it into a design phase, and take it from start to finish to where it's a finished product and you're done. We can do remodels where it's, an existing patio that gets ripped up and redone, redesigned, and as small as a little walkway with a couple steps. So there's no job that's too big, too small. The jobs, we're not, that's too proud to say we're not going to do a small job. We'll do any job. It's just scheduling is the biggest thing, and material.
Yeah. So is it realistic to say that you're pretty much full for the season and looking into next season for the bigger projects?
I wouldn't say we're full. We are. We have a lot of irons in the fire right now. We definitely have work coming off of last year that we're trying to finish up. We cannot take a April install for a pool that needs to start in 2 weeks, and you want us there for 3 or 4 weeks. That we cannot do.
Right.
But as far as depending on the install and what you have going in your pool company, we can definitely take bigger jobs, but we will not overbook our schedule. We'll be honest with you and tell you when we're at the point of capacity. I'm not going to take the job that we can't fit in or scramble to do it. It's not fair to anybody.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Brian, do you have a website where people can go and look at your work?
I do. Website and Facebook page. LawnGuyLandscape.com is the website. And then if you look up the Lawn Guy Landscape Management, or just the Lawn Guy, it'll pop up on Facebook as well. A lot of our work is updated 2-3 times a week. And we have a lot of streaming videos where we'll do a time lapse, different things that get put on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, neat. So it's the lawnguilandscape.com.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Brian, interesting. So, I love grasses, not grass, grasses, the long grasses. They hide a lot of things. They just always make me feel like I'm at the beach. Uh, are you seeing anything trending in actual landscaping, certain plants or?
So yeah, so from a landscaping standpoint, I mean, we have, we live in an area up here that is, selective in that we can't install a lot of rose bushes without somebody tending to them. The environment won't take it. So, what happens as people get going, they get those plants that are kind of hot ticket items that they like. Boxwoods, people love them, so they could have a shipment of them come in at the nursery where they got 50, 60 of them. And in 2 days, there's 10 left. I would say boxwoods, arborvitaes fly off the shelf. You go over to these nurseries and then 5 to 6 foot arborvitaes come in a truckload and they're gone in 3 days. So those things as privacy hedges are always hot ticket items. You can bring some different sort of. This area doesn't really allow for you to have main things that are called for are the ones that are hardy that are going to make it year after year.
Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Well, Brian, thank you. I mean, you've always got a lot of information to share, and we could go on and on here, but they only give us a half an hour. Again, Brian's phone number, Brian Phillips, the lawn guy, 518-581-2655. And Brian, before I let you go, you're frozen right now, so you're going to get to think about this.
Nope.
Dead or alive?
There you go. I got you.
Okay. Dead or alive, if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Dead or alive, if I could have dinner with anybody, probably Suzanne Prezio. I mean, I would love to have dinner and talk about our show and expand it. How about that? Is that a good answer?
Aren't you a schmoozer? Okay, I like that answer, Brian. Very good. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful season, and looking forward to seeing all the progress on your Facebook page of the beautiful things that you create. So I'm sure we'll be talking to you as the season ends. And
absolutely.
Thanks again for being here.
No, thanks for having us. I appreciate the time and, everything that you're doing. I mean, you're doing a vast array of things on your show for a lot of, basically it's for your customers, and it's a lot of good things for people in business, small businesses like myself. And, for that, I thank you. It's great.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Brian Phillips, the lawn guy. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.